Thank you, Morgan, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma Furrier, and I'm a Senior Policy Analyst for Healthcare at Economic Liberties. Early this year, we launched Break Up Big Medicine, an initiative with two goals. First, to identify the policy choices that have ceded our healthcare system to insurance monopolies that drive prices up, quality down, and independent providers out of business. The second goal is in the name, urging policymakers to break up these big medicine behemoths and restore power over our healthcare system to patients and the professionals who actually care for them. So today, I'm honored to introduce Dr. Elizabeth Potter, a board-certified plastic surgeon and advocate who has stood up to the biggest of big medicine at great personal cost. I first met Dr. Potter in 2023 when I profiled her for a magazine following a big advocacy win. The federal government planned to eliminate billing codes for the microsurgical breast reconstruction technique in which Dr. Potter specializes. Without these codes, cancer patients enrolled in Medicare, Medicaid, and many private health plans would have been forced to choose between an inferior reconstruction technique and paying out of pocket. But because Dr. Potter helped marshal enough opposition, the government reversed course. Here's what she told me at the time. Fighting cancer is financially devastating. If you harm a patient by knowingly inflicting financial distress on them, then you have not lived up to the standard of being a physician who cares for cancer patients. Dr. Potter has always cared deeply for her patients. But since we first met, she's gone viral for it. You may have heard that in January of this year, she was interrupted in the operating room by a call from United Health Group demanding justification for a patient's hospital stay. She posted a video about the experience and, more broadly, the risk of insurers interfering with doctors' medical judgment. A week later, United's law firm demanded she retract the video and apologize. But Dr. Potter refuses to be silenced, even when United has inflicted financial distress on her. After investing her own money and taking out personal loans, she recently opened an outpatient surgery center. But now, United, the largest insurer in the country, is refusing to include the center in its network, freezing out a quarter of her patients and threatening to close the business. We at Economic Liberties are in awe of Dr. Potter's courage in standing up to United. She has inspired countless patients, as well as her fellow physicians and business owners who often feel powerless in the face of corporate giants. The truth is, we need more people like her if we're going to break up big medicine. So it's fitting that former Assistant Attorney General Jonathan Cantor will present this award. Under his leadership, the Justice Department Antitrust Division launched investigations into United and also sued the company to prevent it from growing even more dominant. Jonathan, over to you.
I'm not really supposed to talk. I just wanted to say a couple things quickly. First of all, real superheroes don't wear capes, they wear stethoscopes. If it's not enough to break up big medicine, it's not enough to fight healthcare monopolies, we need a society where small, independent physician practices can succeed and thrive anywhere in the country. And you're about to meet a real-life American hero. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Elizabeth Potter.
Thank you so much. You guys, sit down, sit down. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was amazing. I feel so fortunate to be here with you guys in this room and to follow you. Congratulations, you're an inspiration. And okay, I'm just gonna let myself settle for a second. It has been a hard year. It has been a hard year. Okay, so thank you, Emma. I've known Emma for several years now, and back when I was asking CMS to do the right thing for patients, she was getting that message out into the public arena, and she made a big difference for my patients and for patients around the country. So thank you for that. Thank you, Jonathan. I can't even, I feel like I'm gonna have to go home and journal about this day because this is a moment I'm having. And Representative Greenman, I appreciate you. I know maybe more than some what it's like to stand up to a challenge when you're standing up in the face of an incredible opposition. I know what it's like to speak out and do the right thing when, everyone around you wants the narrative to be something different. When you try to speak the truth plainly, without embellishment and without elaboration, just sharing the truth of the Americans that you're serving. And there's an establishment trying to tell you to be quiet and to discredit you. But I also know something that you know. I know that deep feeling of resonance when you are squarely in your purpose, when you see the moment and you just simply do what is right. That is what I am depending on now. That is all I have left almost. United has tried to destroy my practice. I am a safety net for women across the country. Princeton educated MD Anderson. I've always done the right thing, taking insurance, doing all of the 500 surgeries for breast reconstruction a year. And if I can't succeed in the current environment of healthcare, then we are in danger. And that is the message I need to share with you. Okay, so I want you to know I'm assuming that each of you knows that the foundation of medicine is being eroded. And I bet that you guys have all had your own personal experiences with that, whether it's you can't get the medication that your doctor prescribed, they want to substitute it with something else, whether it's there's a delay in your surgery because they're going through this pre-authorization process. And by the way, delay is harm in my world. In the world of cancer, 2 weeks matters, right? I know we all have our experiences with this, and I wanted to share just a few specific examples in my practice that are real over the last couple of weeks and months so that you understand what it's like to practice medicine now in 2025. So I would say twice in the last 2 weeks, I have been at the hospital where I operate and had a patient taken to the operating room without my knowledge by not the anesthesiologist, simply by the system rolling forward. So there's maybe 50 cases on the board, and twice in the last 2 weeks, a patient has been taken to the operating room by a nurse and received anesthesia. One of them was intubated before I ever said, you may go to the operating room. And it's simply because there's a quota to meet and everybody's racing to get to the end of the day. So in that instance, a nurse came in the room and said, oh my God, Dr. Potter, they brought your patient in another room because I'm operating and she's in, they've already brought her to the room. And I said, okay, well, take her back out. And they're like, no, she's intubated. She's asleep. And I said, no, patient safety. I called the CEO of the hospital. I said, no, I've just started another case. What is going on? And they said, we will counsel the team. We will counsel the team. And I've heard nothing since then. That patient did okay, but she was an elderly woman who got 30 minutes of extra anesthesia because of the quotas, because of the system. I've had in the last 2 weeks a patient show up to the emergency room with seizures, who has breast cancer. Unfortunately, it spread to her central nervous system. She had tissue expanders in place. And I operated a large hospital, and all the records were available for everyone to peruse, to check. But nobody checked. Nobody checked. And they put my patient in an MRI machine. She has metal in her chest. And she's 25 years old, and she said it hurts. And they just kept going. And it ripped the expanders off of her chest wall. And they didn't even know what happened until my team in my independent practice was checking up on our patients the next Monday. And we checked up and we said, oh my, she's in the hospital. And my PA said, Dr. Potter, she had an MRI. And I said, that's impossible. And I called, and yes, she did. And I went and saw her immediately. And yes, she said to me, I told them, she had seizures. She told them, I have expanders and this hurts. And they did it anyway. This is the hospital where they're making me operate, right? So healthcare is not what it used to be. It's insurance care. It's the care that the insurance companies have dictated in our hospitals. I could go on with disturbing examples. I'll give you two more that are very important. I've recently had two patients. The first, a young woman who felt a mass in her breast. She had United Healthcare. Under the guidelines from her policy, she was not able to receive a covered mammogram. And so she trusted the insurance company. And she didn't get her mammogram until that mass was growing. And then she insisted. Instead of trusting the insurance company, she went to her family doctor and said, something's wrong. And they said, you're young, it's probably nothing, but okay, we'll push. And they pushed and they were denied and approved and finally got her the mammogram. And she was diagnosed in her 20s with metastatic breast cancer, not curable. Over a year after she tried to get that mammogram, and insurance prevented her. Last example, I have a patient now who last October felt a mass. She also had United Healthcare. In Austin, Texas, United and the major radiology corporation group were in negotiations. That's nice in business, in negotiations, while people are getting cancer. So she felt a mass, she had United Healthcare, and there was not a single in-network provider for her mammogram. And when she called to inquire, to say, what do I do? They said, well, you can call this other facility or you can pay cash. She didn't understand how important it was to get that mammogram. She called the other facility and they said, we only occasionally have openings on Wednesdays, so why don't you call us every Monday? Call us every Monday and we'll let you know if we have an opening. For 2 months. She calls every Monday. Again, she's diagnosed with breast cancer at the out-of-network facility when there was a facility down the road. But insurance, the network of insurance, prevented her from getting the mammogram that we all knew she needed. That is happening now. By the way, after she was diagnosed, she also found out that there wasn't a breast surgeon or a plastic surgeon in the network of that United plan. So they were selling a product in Texas with an inadequate network. No mammogram facility, no plastic surgeon, no breast surgeon. So she switched to a different plan with our help, and we took care of her. Unfortunately, she is also metastatic in her 30s. So delay is harm. I remember growing up, my father was a doctor in Georgia. He literally had a shingle, like literally a shingle. It was like swinging out in the breeze in Augusta, Georgia. He was allergy and internal medicine, double boarded, really smart man. My mom was a nurse. It was our family business. We cut the grass, we emptied the trash, we answered the phones, and we knew that our parents' job was to take care of people. And that's what I wanted to do. And they were such great parents. Like my brother's a surgeon also. We set out to do that thing, right? To take care of folks. And I no longer recognize medicine as the thing that my dad was doing. I no longer recognize it. The balance of power has shifted so dramatically away from taking care of your patients and the care of the healthcare workers, right? Towards making money and the fiduciary responsibility to shareholders of the medical industry. So we've lost the feedback loop. This is terrifying to me. We have lost the feedback loop. You can have patients getting worse care and healthcare workers miserable and morally injured and quitting by the droves and not signing up to go to medical school. And yet companies are making billions of dollars. The feedback loop doesn't work anymore. And we have to get order back there. Like this system is going to run completely in that other direction. And I'm afraid that there won't be doctors left like me who remember what it should have been, who remember what it was like to have that card that you could play where you say, I will do the right thing for my patient. Everything else be damned. I don't care about the bills. She will get chemotherapy. We can't do that anymore. Do y'all know that? Doctors are saying, well, it's the system. It's the system. We're throwing up our hands, we're exhausted. And that's because we've lost our voice. So, to speak to Jonathan's point, the model, the answer, really is in supporting the independent physician. In 2011, 75% of physicians were independent. They were not employed by large institutions. Today, 25% are independent. It's completely flipped. Every day, doctors reach out to me and say, Elizabeth, please keep saying what you're saying because I can't say it. I'm not allowed to speak out. If I do, I'll get called before the medical executive committee. I'll lose my privileges at the hospital. I won't be able to earn a living. So by turning over our power to these companies, we've lost the ability to do the right thing for our patients, and we've lost our voice in changing the direction that healthcare's going. So I started my own surgery center as a model, and that's what I'm doing now. I invested all of my savings, and I took out loans to build Redbud Surgery Center to show that you can do complex microsurgical breast reconstruction, really complex things in communities in an independent way. And the companies, the Uniteds, they're fighting me hand and foot. They're trying to prevent me from succeeding. And what I need from all of you is help. I need help for doctors across the United States to have a chance at an independent practice. And there are ways that we can come up with to protect the independent practice of medicine again, to restore that so that my patients don't have to wait, so that the power is given back to the people who ultimately have that responsibility and oath to do the right thing. So yeah, I guess I would just leave you with that. I've acted. I've risked everything. I didn't know it in the moment. I didn't. All I knew was I'm supposed to do this. I have to speak the truth and do the right thing. And United has rained down hell on me. And I have the privilege of feeling that resonance, of feeling like I am in this moment for a reason. And I'm in this room for a reason. And doctors around America, just like me, need all of your help to build back the practice of independent medicine. So thank you for this honor.